Danielle is from Australia,
Yeah.
right? Do you have a take on what's currently happening with New Jeans?
You know, it's a wild one because the whole thing with Danielle was such a curveball of them because she accepted coming back, and then they kicked her out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a power play. I don't. What's the end game with that? I mean, because ultimately they're hurting their own bottom line to make a point.
Yeah.
And it's a point that I don't think is going to have any effect because the change has already happened. You have these younger artists who already want the autonomy. Scaring them with this, is it going to make a difference? I don't think so. I think this is just going to piss people off and they're going to lose money off this. I think everyone loses from this scenario. But I think there is this illusion that, yes, our new trainees aren't going to mess around with us because look what we can do look what we did with New Jeans.
I see.
But I think they're wrong. I don't think it's going to work.
Yeah. Well, what do you think is next for somebody? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what historically has happened, or if there's ever been a case like this, such a public just feud, and how it's turned out in the past of K-pop. But I do wonder how this will turn out for somebody like Danielle, who is obviously very young still.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to think, like, how would I have handled a situation like this if I was 21, 22, 23, like, potentially having to get sued for tens of millions of dollars, and then just the whole world watching. It's so public. I don't know how I could have handled that even at my age now. So I do wonder what the near future holds for someone like her.
Well, there is a case of something like this that happened years ago with a band called TVXQ. If you remember them.
No.
So they were they were SM, one of the early SM bands. This is like BoA era stuff.
Yeah.
And they were originally 5 members. Now they're just 2. But the other 3 sued and got out of their deals.
Yeah.
And it was a giant suit. And SM did everything they can to try and dismantle whatever power they had, whatever connections they had. And it got to a point where if any of us who were working with SM at the time worked with any of the former TVXQ members, we'd be blacklisted from working with SM ever again.
Oh, wow.
And so it was pretty, like, okay, we stay away from them. And they were, but what they did, they started their own companies. They started putting out music themselves. They'd reach out to people. They'd create pseudonyms for producers to come work with them. Like, hey, you can't use your name, but we'll pay you a little extra and we'll give you a fake name so you can work on this. And, they weren't being sued for the same amount of money that Danielle is right now, but they were able to create parallel careers and do well enough to still live good lives. Now, I think $80 million in like the case of Danielle is just such a ridiculous number. I highly doubt that's going to be justifiable in court. There's just no way that they can justify that number. Either way, let's say she loses this one. I think she has an amazing ability with her community that I see a scenario where let's say the number lands at like 10 million. I think she could do a GoFundMe to get her out of that to continue making music. I think that $10 million in the GoFundMe would actually reach the 10 mil and she'd be able to continue making music. And I think she's just going to have a great career off of that.
Yeah, probably. Do you think she'd probably go solo? Or?
I think in that scenario, that's what you do. I mean, because well, all press is good press, right? And in this scenario, now she's probably the most famous member all of a sudden because of all the headlines, right?
Yeah.
So, coming out of this, use that notoriety to be able to bail out of this situation and then release music off the back of it. I think there's a potential for it to be a hyper fandom after that.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like this phoenix being reborn from the ashes, and
100%.
now I mean, there's the group. They're there and they're going to be big. But then you out of this big debacle, you come and you just have this meteoric rise, even more than what you could have dreamed of with the group potentially, based on this life altering event that happened to you. And a lot of it, like, I feel bad because I feel like a lot of it, almost none of it is their fault. They're just pawns in a game.
They're children, right?
Exactly.
And it's funny because I remember seeing these girls running around the halls of Hybe like years ago, and I just didn't know what these kids were doing in a building full of grown-ups. And then seeing this all happen to them, it's heartbreaking. But the thing here that I see as a very likely scenario is it's a Beyonce breakout moment, Justin Timberlake breakout moment, Robbie Williams,
and that turned out great.
every single major boy group, girl group has their breakout.
The
Sometimes
Harry
two,
Styles or
right? Yeah. And they become ultimately bigger than the group itself ever was. And I feel like this is a setup that leads to that. And Hybe are gonna not. They're creating potentially a monster for themselves.
wow, yeah. I mean, that would be quite the comeback and quite the FU if she came back. And
And a
like
lot of
just
people want it.
And if she just became like this global megastar, because she has all the makings of it. She speaks,
100%.
She speaks native English. She speaks
Yep.
good Korean. She's young. She's got a built-in fan base. Yeah, I'm curious to see how this whole thing plays out, because obviously Hybe are the biggest music label, not only in Korea, but they're one of the biggest in the world right now.
Oh, yeah.
Tyla, which is a South African artist, my fellow countryman, she just signed with Hybe as her international agency.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is huge, because with her new song Chanel, like people, like the biggest K-pop stars in the world are doing her dance trend or her TikTok trend.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, that's a testament to how big she is, and the fact that she's now joining Hybe is a testament to how big they are.
Well, also they need each other because what Tyla has in eyeballs, she is not delivering in terms of, I guess, hardcore loyalty. So when she did her shows in America now, no one showed up. And one thing that Hybe have mastered is creating super fans. So in the sense of Tyla versus Hybe, I mean, that's just a symbiotic relationship that needed to happen, because she has all the eyeballs in the world, but she can't get them to make action. While they know how to make action and want more eyeballs.
Why are they so good at it? Why are they so good at creating super fans?
Well, every generation of K-pop, they've you take the old model, you add something new. It's just multiple generations of entertainment Darwinism, right? And at the point that they've gotten now, they've just procured so much talent of the industry. Every great mind from all the other labels has essentially been poached by Hybe at this point. There's a few of the great minds have gone to some of the other labels, but like I'd say Hybe has been able to poach the vast majority of them. So they're really sitting on such talent in that building when it comes to the creative direction and marketing, and they have the means and the minds to just to execute.
Yeah, and there's this well of information and knowledge that they've just iterated over for the last the knowledge from previous companies, and then obviously their own projects, where they're just getting bigger every time, from BTS to, I mean, enhaipun의 now.
Oh yeah,
they're just so. I didn't realize how big they were until I did that music video, and I kind of made a little mistake. All right, good one. If you enjoyed that clip, here's a full-length pod right over here. Go ahead, smash that click. Yeah.